right, good morning, good afternoon, bonjour, bonsoir to the monde. Welcome to this week's edition of the Wada Forum. We have a lot to cover today. Mostly, we want to have enough time for everyone's questions and answers at the end. So we're going to go ahead and get started without further ado. Thank you all for being here. As always, we like to start off. I mean, here's the general overview, right, of our day today, for the next 40 minutes or so. We'll briefly go over, why we're all here, and then talk a little bit about what you might have missed from last week, and then go into some highlights from our ecosystem. And then we really want to have time to talk about the Fun 12 proposals, as you all know, or if you don't know, you're about to know. Deadlines are fast approaching for submissions. This was a speedy round. So we'll talk to you a little bit about one of the WADA global proposals, and then the rest of the time will be open support for anyone who brought their questions today. So I hope everyone brought some good questions for us to hear about what you'll be submitting. Next slide. So for the statement of purpose, usually we like to call on some people in the audience to read. Let me see. We have George here who is just joining us for the first time. I wonder, George, if you would be happy reading the statement of purpose in English.
Oh, okay. Statement of purpose, our mission: to elevate underrepresented groups through the application of technology and invest in more equitable future.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And for the French, I won't put you on the spot since you're just logging in. Otherwise, I might have. I'll read the French. Déclaration de but. Notre mission est pour promouvoir les groupes sous-représentés grâce à l'application de la technologie et investir dans un avenir plus équitable. So last week, we announced a lot of big upcoming dates. We'll talk about this more a little bit coming up right next, but we are now underway with proposal submissions in both Catalyst and SingularityNet. So everyone's been quite busy submitting proposals. And the other main announcement last week is that the month of May, we're going to really be focused on proposal support. So today, like I said, we'll focus on Cardano Catalyst support. And next week's meeting will be focused on SingularityNet support, because that's sort of how the deadlines lined up. The Catalyst deadline is a little bit earlier than the Cardano one. So you have that to look forward to for today's call and then for the rest of our time. Bon, bref, la semaine dernière, nous avons souligné les dates importantes par rapport aux soumissions de propositions. Nous sommes en cours de soumettre en deux plateformes. Il y a Cardano Catalyst et SingularityNet qui ont les soumissions en cours. Nous sommes en train de... Bon, avec cet espace, le Wada Forum, nous voulons au mois de mai vous soutenir avec vos propositions. Alors aujourd'hui, on va se focaliser sur Catalyst, comme la date s'approche bientôt pour finaliser les propositions. Et la semaine prochaine, on va mettre un peu plus de temps sur SingularityNet, les questions, etc. Thanks, Samuel, for the prompt. Okay, now over to you, Mercy, for ecosystem highlights.
Hey everyone. So yes, the reason that we share this, I've been waiting to we share this with you, is that we look at the ecosystems that we are involved in And what we do is sort of scope whatever information is there and how it applies to us. So in terms of, Cardano, Project Catalyst is the innovation arm for Cardano. That is how a lot of our projects have had, acquired resources to kick off. And as we know, the Fund 12 launched 2 weeks ago, 29th of April. And deadline for submission any new proposals is on the 13th. And then we have another 3 days or so to actually fine tune proposals and then, make it look good. We shared the roadmap last week, the week before. And we will encourage everyone on this call, if you are interested, especially if you want to be a reviewer or whatever, to actually join the Catalyst Town Hall. Happens every Wednesday at I think 5 p.m. UTC. So please look out for that. Africa Town Hall also holds every 2 weeks. I believe that this Friday there is a town hall coming up, very informative as well. It's on Fridays at 6 p.m. UTC. So please jump in. Singularity Net has also been giving out funding. Their funding pot is not as big as Catalyst, but it is worth looking at. Baby steps. They are only just on round 4. I believe that when Catalyst was at round 4, their funding wasn't even up to what SNet is at this point. And as we all know, I think one of the things that WADA has been able to leverage is the fact that we have been in Catalyst since the beginning. So that really helps when you're able to join these elephants, build your reputation, put in proposals, complete your projects. So yeah, please lean in into the SNet. It's called Deep Funding. And they also, as I said, they give funding. Their timeline, they also started April 29th, interesting. And the deadline for submitting proposals is May 20th. From May 20th to June 10th, that will be the review period. And then voting from June 10th to June 17th. So lots of things going on. Singularity Net is all about decentralized AI. So it's all about AI, but more decentralized. So instead of it being centralized, like say ChatGPT and some of these other AI platforms that is held by one company on their central service, what SNet seeks to do is to put information, AI agents, AI use cases in the hands of the people on the ground. For instance, Wada Hub. So that is one of the things that makes Singularity Net Deep Funding very attractive to us because of our decentralized sort of hub network on the ground. Very quickly, Intersect. We've been talking about Intersect. Anybody that is not quite sure how all these relate to one another, we have a quick Q&A session later. Plus, we also have our previous discussions uploaded onto YouTube. Please look out for it and get the latest information. But in terms of Intersect, very briefly, Intersect is the sort of the membership vehicle for Cardano. It's sort of the human side of on-chain governance that is coming soon. It's rapidly approaching, which is a Voltaire stage. And basically what Intersect does is to organize the people, and we're able to determine how the code will work in terms of on-chain governance. Lots of exciting things coming up. One of them is formalized DREP education. As you all know, there's been a lot of DREP education, facilitation going around. Both, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Megan shared what she and Fotrek and some other members in the community are doing on the ground, like in Ghana, in DRC, and so on. There has been workshops. All that is good. But now we are going to figure out how to pull all that together, make it more formalized, so that people are actually ready to become a DREP. One of these days, we will have a more in-depth session in terms of how that could potentially look like. So lots of things coming up. In addition, there is also a constitutional convention that will be happening for Cardano, Q4. I think it will be in December. Prior to that, there will be regional workshops. Those that were around last year, you saw how they did the SIP 1694 workshop. We had some questions. We were able to feed into those questions, and then it was all sort of collated, and it went into the drafting of the SIP 1694. The same thing is going to happen this year, leading up to the Constitutional Convention in December. Be on the lookout. We will keep bringing more information. And I know that I have said a lot, so please don't be shy to ask questions. I think I will wrap it up here. Thanks.
Oui, je
Madam,
vais
please
également
translate
répéter
that.
certains trucs en français rapidement. Merci à souligner quelques dates importantes pour Cardano. La date limite pour soumettre les propositions, c'est le 13. Et il y aura seulement 3 jours cette fois-ci pour finaliser. Alors, ça veut dire que la date limite est le 19. Pour SingularityNet, de l'autre côté, c'est un peu plus flexible. Il n'y a qu'une date, c'est le 20 mai. Et après, il suit un peu le rythme de vote qui aura lieu en juin. Voilà pour les propositions. Maintenant, au côté Intersect, bon, elle a mentionné que d'une certaine manière, Intersect représente le côté humain de l'organisation autour de gouvernance Cardano, Voltaire, qui serait on-chain. Et il y aura plusieurs opportunités pour participer dans cette gouvernance. À l'avenir, il y a les ateliers de DREP qui s'annoncent. Et il y aura aussi une convention constitutionnelle au fin de l'année, en décembre, je crois. Et bientôt, ils annonceront les opportunités des ateliers, similaires aux ateliers que nous avons fait pour le CIP, où on aura l'occasion d'organiser nous-mêmes certains ateliers. Ils vont sélectionner certains candidats pour avoir une petite somme monétaire pour organiser localement des ateliers, mais ce n'est pas encore annoncé en détail, mais quelque chose à l'avenir. Et s'il y a des questions, on aura un peu du temps après pour toutes vos questions. Okay, back to you. I don't know, Samuel, if you wanted to add something.
Not really. I think Macy was very comprehensive about most of the things. And I guess it's a good time now for us to present to the House the submission of proposals for Fund 12.
Does anybody have any question?
Sorry, I can see in the chat Abel who is asking if there are some links to be shared.
Okay, so the slide has been shared. Thanks for that, Boaz. The slides had been shared. Maybe we can share. Can we share Intersect? The website. I think one thing that I wanted us to remind everyone is please register, go on Intersect. I'm assuming that most of us are already on the Deep SingularityNet the funding platform as well as Project Catalyst platform. But yeah, please engage to the best that you can. If you're not able to, joining these forums helps in terms of updates. As I mentioned, there's going to be the DREP workshop. I see that Martin Musagara has joined. He's going to be one of the DREP workshop hosts, which is fantastic. Wada is one of the hosts as well. I believe we have Ubio. Some of us know Ubio. He's part of the Catalyst Africa Town Hall team. He is also going to be part that, hosts these formalized DREP workshops coming up. So does that answer the question? Can we drop some links? Oh, thank you, Megan. Oh yeah, thanks Edufua. I can look for Project Catalyst, and let's all try to engage. Like the deadline for these proposals are coming up. Sometimes what happens is that some individual might reach out to you if they know what skills you have and how you can contribute, participate in their project. That totally happens. Another way actually will also be engage, like register on Idea Scale, look at proposals that interest you, comment on it, and sometimes somebody could reach out and say, hey, do you want to be part of my project? Another way is to be a reviewer. Samuel, do you want to share your experience reviewing? Not too long, so that we can move on to maybe questions or proposal submission. Very short, so that everybody knows that there is somewhere for everyone.
So exactly what do you want me to talk about in terms of the reviewing?
Your experience being a reviewer, I believe it's from Fund 10. Very short.
Yes, I think it's worth it to be a reviewer, and as Mercy is saying, it actually pays. I joined Fund 10 as a community reviewer, and yes, you start from LVO, that is level O or level 0, where I was allocated, I think, 30 proposals to review. God willing, I think it was a great job. And fast forward in Fund 11, the previous funds, I was promoted to LV1. And before I could even finish with the allocations that I had, which was about 80, I got a message from Catalyst that I've been pushed to, I think, LV2. And while even going through that, I was also promoted to a milestone reviewer. And there were even other levels which I didn't really have time to go through. And the little I can say is that throughout all these levels, every level is incentivized with hands-on package, I can say. So yes, that's a little I want to share. And the package was good. And we encourage everybody to just go on, register as a reviewer, start from the minimum level, make sure you do a great job. It is not any hard work. You just read through or skim through or scan through however fast you can the projects, and you only have to tell what you think about the project in just 150 characters. It is not 150 words, just 150 characters, including spaces as well. So it's not any extensive thing to write about someone's project. The only thing is that you are sharing your view. And one good thing about these reviewing platforms or these reviewing stuff is the fact that you don't have to be an expert in a particular field of or a particular body of discipline to be able to share your view. I mean, Your layman view is accepted, only that you don't have to use intemperate languages or swear languages or use strong words. You just share your view, how you think the proposal is in terms of its impact on the Cardano ecosystem, in terms of how feasible the project is, in terms of how whether the team behind the proposal are capable, and the last one, whether the project has value for money. So these are just three areas that you have to just review. You don't need any technical brain. Just your layman point of view is enough. And once you are able to do that within the space of using 150 characters, I mean, it's good. So let's encourage ourselves to apply for these community review thing, and you will not regret. Thank you.
Thanks for that.
Okay, thanks, Samuel.
Samuel. Before Megan, very quickly, let me clarify before you come in. I do want to say, Samuel is making it seem very easy, but I want to give a heads up if you want to be a reviewer. Yes, in some sense, it's a little easy, but if you don't do it well, all your hard work will go to waste.
Yeah, that's true.
So what I'll say is that from this point, if there is any proposals that you are interested in, read it, understand it, ask questions, then it is fast when it gets to the reviewing stage. Because if you don't do it well, it stands the risk of you will not get any reward. So that's just a very high level.
And Mercy, let me add this quickly. In this day and age where AI is it's all over the place, there are systems to check if your reviews are AI generated. So most people put in some AI platforms, and at the end of the day, they are caught, and whatever you do comes to nothing. So you just have to be mindful of those things and make sure that it is done by your human capacity. Like I said, you don't have to be a technical mind, just your layman point of view. I don't know. It is that easy. Just read through however you understand it. If you think it has value for money, just state it. State one sentence to justify that. If you think the team have the capacity, just state it. If you think the project is feasible, just state it. And if you think it has impact on the Cardano ecosystem, just state it. And that's it. It's not a rocket science. Thank you.
Okay, let me jump in really quick. Just give a quick recap. Bon, merci à souligner que hors des propositions, il y a aussi la possibilité d'être évaluateur communautaire pour les propositions. Samuel a parlé un peu de son expérience en le faisant. Il a trouvé cela gratifiant et ça apporte une certaine compensation. Bon, il y a différents niveaux de rémunération en fonction de votre expérience dans le système d'évaluation, mais il a souligné ça comme gratifiant. Et pour lui, le travail n'est pas trop difficile. Il souligne que vous n'avez pas besoin d'être expert. En gros, le travail consiste à lire les projets et donner des évaluations en seulement 150 caractères. Alors, c'est vraiment une ou deux phrases par rapport au projet pour évaluer d'un aspect humain. Merci à souligner que, bon, peut-être Samuel donne un peu l'impression que cela est trop facile, mais elle voulait souligner que si vous ne le faites pas bien, votre travail enchaîné sera en vain et ne comptera pas pour les récompenses. Ils ont mentionné aussi que ils vérifient que vous n'utilisez pas l'intelligence artificielle pour générer vos avis, des trucs comme ça. Mais en gros, on vous suggère de au moins essayer et voir si c'est une bonne opportunité aussi d'engager dans la communauté de Cardano et d'être rémunéré. Bon, maintenant, s'il y a des questions en français, vous pouvez aussi les poser.
Megan, are you done?
Yes.
Then I think Mercy can take over from here and share the proposal Global is putting in for Fund 12.
Any
Sure.
questions from anyone?
Well, we have more time for questions, so feel free to, put your questions in the chat, or let's power through the next part, and then we'll hear about
Yes, we go.
proposals.
All right,
as well.
next slide, please. Thanks, Megan. Next slide. All righty. Yeah, we are excited. I love these pictures. I think that is one of them is Martin. Am I right? I always try to look at the pictures and identify people that are coming up. But anyway, very quickly, so Wada Global is going to put in a few proposals. As usual, we seek to build our hubs, aligned with our mission to elevate underrepresented groups. One of the ones that we are really, really excited about is an outreach proposal that Samuel and Megan are leading. So basically, as you all know, from the beginning of the year, we have been looking at licensing, formalizing our relationships with all our hubs. And following that, we realized that we do need to outreach, first of all. A lot of our hubs on the ground have been doing a lot of hard work, forming relationships and so on. So what we want to do is to put in this proposal that will look at like a mentorship program, or let's think train the trainer. So basically, as existing hubs on the ground, especially those that are licensed, will be resourced to reach out to a potential a hub that could become part of the WADA network. We've always believed that we add to multiply. For instance, when we look at the Ghana WADA hub network, IFIA did a lot of hard work. In addition to the Accra hub, there has been other program hubs. There has been location hubs in middle part of Ghana, and also in the north. Right now, there is another potential hub coming from the north. IFIA started, and people like Jeremiah, they pick it up, and as of this month, actually, Jeremiah was successful in establishing a hub in Kenya. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for with this proposal. A lot of the work will be done by our existing hubs to reach out to potential hubs. In addition, Wada Global will also take a big bird's eye view and figure out, okay, strategically, we are strong, or we are trying to influence work in sub-Saharan Africa. Which parts of sub-Saharan Africa are we not very strong? So for instance, we have Bernard in South Africa, Johannesburg. Maybe we should look at, maybe he has some relationship, maybe with a university, or maybe in Cape Town, or, maybe in Zimbabwe, or, so we are going to, as I said, use our existing hubs, but in places that we don't have a stronger presence. That is where Wada Global will come in and be very intentional in terms of that expansion. Time and time again, we've been proven right in terms of this approach, whereby even though we are an international organization, our our strength is the people on the ground. So when you go to our website, you see, international organization with local footprint. It is not enough, especially in Africa, to do everything virtual. Virtual is good, but we also need in-person on the ground to build those relationships, form those communities, identify what are the challenges on the ground, what are the solutions that needs to be built. So That has been our mission, our vision, and that's what we try to do day in and day out. And basically, this is one of our flagship proposals. We're hoping that we'll get funding, and most of us on this call will have a role to play. I think that's all I'll say at a high level. I will call on Samuel and Megan. They have, I think, a bit more insight on this proposal since they are drafting it. Thanks.
I'm just gonna do a quick recap. So, Wada Global va soumettre quelques propositions en Catalyst. Mercy est en train de mettre en avant une de ces propositions axée sur la sensibilisation à l'intégration des nouveaux hubs. Avec cette proposition, nous nous concentrons en particulier sur les endroits où WADA n'a pas encore une forte présence. Un peu différent par rapport aux autres propositions qu'on a fait dans le passé. Ceci est dirigé un peu dans ce sens. Now, Samuel, I don't know if you wanted to add anything at this point, or maybe we should use the rest of the time to hear from everyone here about, your questions about proposals, since we only have about 10, 15 minutes left.
I think it has to do with everything Mercy has just said, not to add more, because I think she has said a lot about it. Yes, we want to continue our drive to expand our frontiers through our licensing program. And this is an outreach program that WADA Global is embarking upon. And we want to take Fund 12 as an opportunity to put in proposal, and at least, God willing, we can win funding to support or to roll out our plans in terms of reaching out to more hubs across the length and breadth of Africa. But this cannot be done without the input or the contribution of our existing hubs. I refer to our licensed hubs. We are going to work closely with you in the coming weeks when the proposal has been submitted. The contents and details and everything will be made available to you, so you will know exactly what roles or what responsibility you have to perform right on subsequent Wada forums, and also other communication channels like emails or through our socials. So yes, we don't have a lot of time, so I think today is much more dedicated to helping our community to finalize their proposals and what questions they have as far as Fund 12 is concerned. So Megan, we'll have more time to deliberate on this particular project. I think today let's dedicate it to our community members. If they are having any challenges whatsoever, let's see how we can address them. Thank you.
All right. I mean, so now is really the time to hear from all of you. We're right into, nearing up on the deadline. The 13th is next Monday, or this Monday, depending how you use the word next. But we basically have 4 days to get the proposals in, and then just 3 days after is for finalization. So now is your last chance to use this space to ask any questions. So please do not be shy.
While we wait for questions, please, if you have them, you can raise your hand. You'll be letting, or maybe put in the chat. While we do that, we can quickly go through these Catalyst Fund 12 key updates. I think I hammered on it, highlighted them last week, but it was not presented as part of our slides. So I think some people did not really get to see. So we take the opportunity to reshare here for us to know the key dates as well as the. Okay, Laurentine, your hand is up. Please go ahead with your question. Then we can come back to this.
I'm very sorry, there's a lot of noise here. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to ask, I've not submitted my proposal yet because I was very busy with an event here. So I wanted to know, for my proposal that I've submitted for the last two fundings, was not funded. That is about expanding the French West Africa outreach. I want an advice as to which category will be okay for me to submit the proposal onto. Thank you.
Okay, so here is a good time to answer that question. The categories are in your shot right now. There are about 6 or 7 categories. Yeah. Mercy, can you help with that?
I would say very quickly, and anybody else can jump in. I would think that it will go into Cardano Open Ecosystem. So the max is 100,000 ADA. Yeah, I would love to explain a bit more, but because of time, I think that's the only place I'm thinking that will fit.
Yeah, and
Thanks.
Laurentine, maybe just to that's sort of one of WADA's struggles as well in terms of the way they're now doing the categories is that a lot of our efforts, in terms of events and outreach kind of fit in that category. The open ecosystem and the proposal cap for that category is 100,000. And I think it will be, quite competitive.
I want to put a question here, and Mercy, you can take it, or Megan, or any other person, guys who have more experience in Catalyst. In the statement of the budget breakdown, I've seen proposals that such amount of money is quoted in dollars, and there are some that are quoted in ADA. Which one is the best practice?
Sorry, well, all proposals need to be submitted in ADA. Are you just saying, is it good to do your budget in US dollars and then convert it?
I was just asking if, for instance, anybody here, it's doing these breakdowns and maybe they are putting dollars instead of ADA. I don't know which one is more accepted.
So that's a very good question. Once upon a time, it was all in dollars because that was more stable, right? In fact, with the SNET deep funding, it's actually also in dollars. It will be given in AGIX, but like you go in and you know how much dollars you're going to get for your project. Catalyst changed that, I believe, 2 or 3 funds ago, that now we are in ADA country, ADA ecosystem. Everybody needs to do their budgeting in ADA. It has the good side and the not so good side, which is if ADA goes up, you get more funding for your project at the time of approval. If ADA goes down at the time of approval, that spoils things a little bit. I have noticed that there hasn't been a lot of talk about whether budgets should be in ADA. Having said that, I haven't submitted any proposal yet, but as far as I know, it has to be in ADA, like Megan said. I don't know if anything has changed.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? I think we have a few minutes to go.
Or maybe people don't want to talk about their proposals on camera. I think what we're going to do, like it's not only assisting with reading your proposals and so on, or giving feedback. I think that we will also be helping with publicity. So for next week and the weeks after, if for any reason anybody wants to speak about their proposal, but maybe they don't want to do it on camera, I think we need to give that option as well. But it's always good to talk about proposals, because not only can you possibly find a good team, but also once you put it out there, it helps, right? It's part of publicity. For instance, Laurentine talking about French West Africa outreach. Yes, it is true that a lot of proposals is going to be in the open, like Megan said, and it's going to be competitive. But a good proposal is a good proposal, right? And if there is a need, especially reaching new demographics, the Cardano Catalyst ecosystem tends to favor that quite well. So let me be quiet now and call on Boaz. Boaz, you have a question?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I'd like to know if WADA is able to vote to proposals with its stake pool wallet.
Good question.
Hello?
Good question. Mercy, do you know if WADA is planning to vote using our stake pool wallet?
I don't think we're allowed to do. Okay, so there's two things, right? WADA has, and right now it's not even a lot. In terms of the ADA that WADA owns, we are working on that, but for now it's not a lot. That's all that we can use to vote. For instance, we have a delegation from the Cardano Foundation, which is quite substantial, thank God. But we don't control that wallet. They just delegate to us. So no, we cannot use that to vote. Everybody can only vote with the wallets that they control. Boaz, is that your question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. With the DREP program, that will be different, because when the DREP will be different from the stake pool, because when people delegate their wallet to you, what they are saying is that, in quotes, you can use my wallet to vote. But with the stake pool, it's not like that. And also,
but then just to be clear, so the DREP program is not referring to Catalyst proposals, though.
Yes,
the DREP program is about governance actions happening on Cardano. They did talk for a while about implementing a DREP program within Catalyst, but all of the conversations right now around DREPs are very Cardano governance focused and not Catalyst. So that was just a good thing to clarify.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Megan. Yeah, so if that DREP on Catalyst had actually taken off, then Boaz, your question will be even more relevant, right? Because then people could delegate to WADA to vote for them, and then we could have chosen the proposals that we think is good for our mission, vision, and so on. But I think we'll have the opportunity as Intersect is around the corner with the DREP program, because there will be budgets and there will be allocations and there will be requests made of the Treasury. But as Megan rightly said, that's a conversation for another day.
Megan, can you quickly summarize this in French? Boaz's question and feedback that is being given.
Bon, Boaz demandait si WADA voterait avec notre portefeuille de stake pool. On a souligné le fait que nous ne pouvons pas faire cela avec le processus actuel de vote. On a aussi souligné que, bon, pendant un temps, Catalyst parlait bien de DREP pour voter les propositions, mais maintenant, nos propositions sont... Sam, we're seeing your screen.
Yes, I'm trying
Maintenant,
to. There was
Okay.
an interruption. I'll get that.
maintenant la conversation autour de DREP, c'est uniquement autour de gouvernance Cardano, en termes de Voltaire, etc. Ce n'est pas à être confondu avec Project Catalyst et les propositions. C'est plus autour de gouvernance globale de Cardano. Alors, une petite point à souligner.
Oh,
Bon, je profite aussi pour l'occasion de vous supplier de amener vos questions aux prochaines séances pour les soumissions de SNet, SingularityNet. Bon, notre séance prochaine, c'est le 16. Jeudi, c'est le 16. Alors, on aura dans la limite, on serait après la limite des soumissions de Catalyst. Alors, bon, vos questions, bon, vous pouvez avoir quelques questions, mais on ne va pas pouvoir changer grand-chose là-bas. On va se focaliser sur SingularityNet la semaine prochaine. Just put a reminder in French, but I'll say again in English. We're coming to a close with our session for today, but please do remember next week's session will be on the 16th, which will be after the finalization deadline for Catalyst. So you can bring your questions, but we won't really be able to do any changes at that point. So there may be some questions that you have that we can answer, but we're going to spend next meeting focusing on SingularityNet, as we'll still have a few more days for that submission. All right. Are there any other closing thoughts? Thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate you showing up for the updates and looking forward to seeing what you've all been working on in Catalyst.
Yeah. The team could have some, what do you call it, capacity to review proposals off camera. I mean, like if somebody should reach out to some of us, we might be able to help. So feel free to do that. We committed to supporting our licensed hubs. That was one of the promises that we made, that we will help with your proposal. So we're still committed to that if you want to reach out. But thank you so much, as Megan has said, for you being here and participating with us. And we will do this again next week.
Thank you very much.
At this